been around for many years, initially as an oil and gas company, and more recently you've been involved in offshore renewables energy, so for example tidal and wind. What were some of the changes you had to make to the business and your expertise to adapt into that market?
Yeah, actually, the company that was doing this engineering for the offshore industry was L'Oréal, and one of the first things that we had to do is to get another name to address marine renewable energy. So we were coming from the oil and gas, and one thing was first to be humble, not to say we do structural engineering for the offshore industry, so we know how to do it for the oil and gas, so do we know how to do it for the marine renewable energy. This is not true. Of course, we've got the basics, the basic knowledge, basic know-how in terms of theory. The tools that we use are the same, but there are two major, I think, differences. First, when we design structures, in our company, we really have in mind from start the way it's going to be assembled, fabricated, and installed. The way it is fabricated, installed, and assembled in the marine renewable energy, it's different because you are going to fabricate a series of similar structures. So the way how to optimize the design is different, and the approach is really different. So we had to adapt to this. The other adaptation that we had to do also is that the type of foundation is different. Basically, for instance, there is very few monopiles in the oil and gas industry, and usually it's for small facilities. Whereas in the renewable energy, well, for wind turbines, it is the most common. Well, of course, there are jackets, but monopiles is really something that is basically quite new for us, and particularly regarding the interaction with the soil. So these are the main things to which we had to adapt to address this segment of the industry.
Okay, and one of the things that characterises this sector is the constant drive for innovation and doing things differently and finding new technology. We were just speaking about your XCF concept. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah. Well, it's true that actually we've done also two other innovations for this industry for gravity-based structures. But yeah, XCF is an innovation that we created for to address the floating wind segment. Well, the idea was to provide a solution that is robust, easy to fabricate, or is it fabricated actually to use a know-how that is found everywhere on the world. So this is why we designed it based on concrete, and simple reinforced concrete, so no pre-stressing. So it's technology that can be applied by many fabricators worldwide. And concrete also is very efficient against fatigue. Fatigue is a very major concern for the floating supports. And really concrete give a very efficient answer to that. The other thing also that we had in mind is to use proven technology. Well, we think that the sea is a harsh environment in general. There is no way to struggle against it, to try to be stronger than the sea. The sea will be the strongest at the end of the story. So we use a technology that is already existing in the oil and gas industry, so semi-sub. We know, the simulation of this type of structure, of floating body, is very well known, so this is why we've used it, but we've adjusted the size, the dimensions, and also the number of floaters, because we have 4 floaters instead of 3, as it is found most commonly, so 4 floaters, so that it gives a better stability, and also you can tune the behavior, the hydrodynamic behavior, so that it is disconnected to the major operating waves that are found and that actually are driving the efficiency of the whole facility. So that's the idea.
And tell me, which global markets are of most interest to you right now?
Well, France is a quite promising market. Hopefully, uh, if we weren't the first in France for the bottom fixed wind turbines, well, we might not be the last for the floating wind. First of all, because, well, I mean, the frontier is there. There is no way now, I think in France, there are more opportunities to have floating wind than bottom fixed foundations. But otherwise, of course, we are ready to address the market worldwide, and it is in Europe or in Asia also, Eastern Asia, and also in the United States, there are opportunities that we are looking for also. And our solution is from start designed for large turbines up to 12 megawatts, and also for any environment worldwide. So it can be, basically we designed it for a site in France with very large waves. And then it can be adapted to most of the sites worldwide, including where there are cyclones.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.